All right, so any questions on the paper uh, information we did yesterday before we continue?
Did you send the recorded link yesterday?
Yes, I did. I think I did.
I was just asking.
Um, let's see. Let me go to email and
I
check.
I'll look for it. I was
Well,
just
it's
making sure.
it's in. I did put it in Canvas, but I see right here it says recordings in Canvas,
Mm-hmm.
and you go there, and then you see the paper training Wednesday, February 23rd. There's the link in the agenda. But I thought I
Okay.
sent it. I maybe I didn't. There were so many things going on yesterday.
Oh no, there were so many things going on yesterday. I may have not seen it. So,
Yeah.
but at least it's in the Canvas course. I'll get it there.
Okay. All right. Um, but do you have any question what we did yesterday? You kind of understand it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Miss Lawton, any questions at this point?
No, sir, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So we're on page 41. So let me go to the well, what happened to it? This is it. All right. So in page 41, I'm going to put this in Canvas because that's the one that I wrote on that we're looking at. I hadn't put it in there yet, but I'll do that today. So I'm going to go to page 41 and let's see what that's about. Now, Ms. Lyon, you only have one room supervisor for paper testing,
Yes, sir. We only have 4 students now for paper.
and they're all in the same room.
Yes, sir.
Miss Miss Albert, how many room supervisors do you have for paper testing?
5.
5? Okay. All right, so that's not going to be too bad. All right, let me go to page 41. Taking forever. Dismissed for prohibited behavior. Maybe I did that one already. Let me go back. Let's see. Let me just check something. Let's go here. Good Lord. All right, 35, 39. All right, prohibited. Okay, so whenever you dismiss for prohibited behavior, remember that it's kind of the same as with online, but we're dealing with other materials here. So this is what it says: if you dismiss an examinee for prohibited behavior, follow these procedures exactly. Take action immediately without creating a disturbance. If you cannot act immediately, wait until the end of the current time test. Collect all the examinee's test materials. So for paper testing, it will be the test booklet, the answer document, and I think that's it. It's just a test booklet and answer document for paper testing. Number 3, if you believe an electronic device or other item was used to store or exchange information or to take an image of the test, collect the device item from the examinee and call ACT immediately. ACT will determine if the device item is to be retained and sent to ACT or returned to the examinee. Do not return the device item to the examinee without ACT approval. And number 4, tell the examinee you observed or are certain of the prohibited behavior. The dismissal is because of the behavior and the test will not be scored. All right, now remember, you have an answer document. So number 5 says you're going to write the word void on page 1 of the answer document and do so it says do so in the examinee's presence if possible. Number 6, dismiss the examinee, and number 7 says submit a detailed irregularity report that includes the time of the incident and the name of the examinee, the test the examinee was working on at the time, the test room and seating location of the examinees, the details of what you observed, the statements you and the examinees made and the actions that were taken, and the name of the staff who observed or were certain of the irregularity. And then you can attach the voided answer document to the irregularity report. Do not staple. and return it in the processing envelope. So you're going to return all that to the office. Now, as you know, usually with a large amount of students, there's a chance of an irregularity. So you're gonna have to do this process. Now remember, if there's a prohibited behavior, this student cannot do the makeup. But remember, the irregularity report is different for paper. So to get to it, you have to go. I think it's in the it's on page 155 of, and I can't remember. I think it's 155 of the. It might be this manual. Let me go to page 155. Let me scroll all the way down to see if there's a page 125. 125. All right, so yeah, so here's the irregularity reports. Let me go ahead and turn it. Oops. Well, all right, so there's the irregularity report. Now, Ms. Lawton probably see this. I've seen this before. Ms. Albert, you probably did not, unless you saw it from Fanny. But you can put the testing school name here, the room, the ACT code, the city, test date, the examinee's name, and an explanation. And then up here you would have to check the type of irregularity. If non-applied, you put other. And then if it's dismissal, it says examinee scheduled for makeup. If it's prohibited behavior, you would say no. And then the answer document, you would mark void. You would say examinee informed, or examinee was not informed of the void. All right, and then any questions on that? And then at the bottom, you would have the room supervisor sign, and you would sign as well. Okay. All right, so y'all know where to get that irregularity report. So let your room supervisors know that the irregularity report for paper testing is on page 125 of the administration manual. You may want to make more copies of this because there's only one in that manual. So you may want to make a few extra copies just in case. All right. All right, so
Okay.
I'm going to put right here. I'm going to put make more copies. TC should make more copies. Because there's only one, and so if there's like 2 or 3 irregularities, then then someone's gonna have to make some copies. So just make copies in advance. All right, and then there's the accommodation staff list, which is on page 39. So if I go to page, and that's page 39 of the coordinator manual. So notice right here it says accommodation staff list, page 39 of the coordinator manual. So if you go to the coordinator manual, and all of you had a coordinator manual in your box. So let me go to the coordinator manual. So manual, test coordinator manual, and it's on page 39. So that has to be completed before you come back to the office to return all materials. It's still turning. Let's see, come on, here we go. All right, so on page 39 is the staffing list. So it's all the way at the back. Come on, where is it? All right, page 39. So that's the staffing list. So notice it says accommodation supports testing staff list. So you're going to fill out all this information. You're going to put all the accommodations. So Ms. Lyon, you're going to have one person only. Ms. Albert, you're going to have 4 or 5 names here. The school job title, the testing position, and the room number or roving assignment. Ms. Griffin, how many room supervisors do you have for testing?
I have 4.
You have 4 for test for accommodations paper?
For paper,
Yes,
I
paper.
have 1.
1. So you'd put 1 name here, the school job title, the testing position. So for testing position, you would put room supervisor for testing position. And then you need to put the room where that test was located, where that testing occurred. All right, any questions on that? Now remember,
No,
you also have to do this for, now it's a different form for online testing. So let's see where the online one is. Let's see. I think it's this one here. All right. Well, actually, this is standard time. So you're going to use this for standard time, online and paper, by the way. I'm sorry. So this is online and paper. So, and that's going to be one of the tasks. So one of the tasks I'm going to send you probably in about a week or so is this. It's going to say, make sure you are completing this testing staff list. So this is going to be for standard time, and it looks like you're going to use it for both online and paper. And then this is the one for accommodations. And if you're doing accommodations online and paper, you're gonna do this. Use this one. Okay. Any questions? All right.
No, I got.
Okay. So make sure in the testing position you put whether the person was a room supervisor, or it could have been a proctor, but it's probably going to be a room supervisor or proctor. If it's you that's doing it, then you would put test coordinator in that test position. All right. Let's see. Okay. Now, so let's go to page 53 in the manual. All right, page 53. Let's go back and change the orientation. All right. So now remember, we talked about yesterday. So most of you, I think all of you on this call, are going to do the non-test activities, and that's where this we're talking about the demographic part of the answer document. So remember, A through G. So most of you are probably going to do it the morning of the test. So just let your room supervisor know, and that's going to be on, let me see if I can find that page. I'm trying to find that page real quick. All right, so completing the answer document demographics. So make sure your room supervisor knows that the morning of the test are going to go here, and that's on page 51. So I can go there to complete the answer document part. So the students have to complete, at a minimum, they have to complete blocks A through G. Now right here it says this, just to let you know, it says when now turn your answer document over. You can't, it's right number 6 where my cursor is. Now turn your answer document over to the back page and complete blocks C through I. But remember, at a minimum, they have to complete up to what block? A through what?
A through G.
A through G. H, I think, is gender or something like that. And then I is race. So H is gender and I is race. But they have to complete up through block G. All right, see right here it says this. Important, all instant documents, even those with the barcode label, must have blocks A through G completed for scores to be reported. All right, and then after the demographics are done, then they go to the verbal instructions here. So all timings begin here. And so that will be timing code. Since we're doing accommodations paper, that will be any of the timing codes. So that's where to begin. So make sure in the training for the room supervisors who are doing paper testing that they know they have to go here. All timings begin here. All right, and so notice it says verbal instruction for all times begin here. Do not skip ahead. All right, so to talk about what they need to do before they begin, they talk about reading the verbal instructions. Then they have information about the English learner supports. So it says this: if an examinee is authorized to use a word-to-word bilingual dictionary and or translated test directions, note the following. Using a dictionary or translated test directions without authorization is prohibited. It is the examinee's responsibility to bring an approved dictionary. Although it says that, if you have those word-to-word dictionaries, then it's best to give those to the students, because sometimes students will bring their own, and there's all kind of writing in it, highlighting in it, and they will not be able to use it. So it's best to have the school provide it. The third bullet, the examinees may not bring a copy of the translated test directions. Only ACT provided translated test directions you hand out on test day may be used. I think Mr. Odom is the only one that has translated test directions that's doing paper. I don't think any of you have translated test directions. Is that correct? I know Peggy does not. Ms. Griffin, do you have any translated test directions in your box?
No, I do not have any translated.
Okay, all right. And I don't think y'all have any EL learners, do you?
No, I do not.
Okay, so you don't have to worry about the word-to-word dictionary. Peggy, do you have word-to-word dictionary?
No.
All right, Miss Albert, do you?
I do not.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to skip that then. All right, but some of the others, remember, there are about 2 or 3 people that are not here right now that have to give the test, and they're gonna, and I think Mr. Odom has word-to-word dictionaries that he has to use. So it says this. So this is really for Mr. Odom, who's not here at the moment. But prior to testing, right here, the first bullet, writing or marking anything in the dictionary and our translated test directions is prohibited behavior. So Mr. Odom was here. I would ask the question, what does that mean about prohibited behavior? What happens if a student commits prohibited behavior? And hopefully Mr. Odom would be able to answer me. But do any of you know what would happen if a student does anything that's prohibited?
You have to do an irregularity report.
Okay, so it is an irregularity, but what else?
Test is voided. Okay.
Test is voided, yes. So the test is voided. So writing or marking anything in the dictionary and or translated test directions is prohibited behavior. So prior to testing, the room supervisor, and this is for Mr. Odom, who's not here, needs to, 1, confirm that the examinee's dictionary is on the authorized dictionary list. Now remember, just so you know, just in case you have to do this next year, where you have EL learners next year, the word-to-word dictionaries is not a definition. It's only word-to-word. There's no definitions in that dictionary. So it's not like a dictionary that you would think of. But the room supervisor, number 2, would have to inspect, flip through the examinee's dictionary and confirm there is nothing written, highlighted, or enclosed in it. If there is, the examinee must store the dictionary out of sight and cannot use it. Using or accessing a notated dictionary during testing is prohibited behavior. So at the beginning of testing, the room supervisor has to go through the examinee's dictionary, word-to-word dictionary. If there's writing in it, they cannot use it. All right, now let's suppose there's no writing in it. The student uses the dictionary. At the end of testing, the room supervisor is supposed to, before they dismiss the students, the room supervisor is supposed to flip through it again. If there is writing, That's where that first bullet comes in. Writing or marking anything in the dictionary and our translated test directions prohibited behavior. And so at that point, it would be voided. But look at that last bullet right here. Before dismissing examinees at the end of testing each session, collect all translated test directions that were handed out. Inspect, flip through all dictionaries used during testing to confirm that nothing was written or enclosed in them. And then you begin testing. So make sure your room supervisor knows where to go to begin testing. Now remember the cell phone policy? So remember you need to tell them, and this is true for online. So remember we discussed this for online? So our policy is stricter than ACT's. So I think I put it in Canvas. Let me go to Canvas and see where I put this thing. Let's see. Well, that's going to be a little bit difficult to find. I don't even know where I put it. Let's see. Come on. All right. Test forms, online testing information. All right, I'm going to have to send it to you all. Do you remember what I'm talking about? We discussed this about 3 weeks ago. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Repeat the question, please.
So this statement right here, when we did the online, the statement was the same statement that was in the online manual. We crossed it out and we said that EBR has a stricter policy. Do y'all remember us talking about that?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I gotta find. I thought I put it in Canvas, but maybe I did. Let me just go and see if I can find that statement. Let's see. ACT information. Oh, good Lord. I would have no idea where that thing is. Oh, here we go. Maybe this is it. Let's see what this is. Page 74, cell phone ACT. All right, yeah, that's it. All right. So I'm gonna send this to you sometime early next week. But this is what they're gonna say. Instead, they're gonna say all items brought into the test site may be searched, and so on. All right. So instead of saying this statement, they're gonna say this statement. Okay. All right. So you have to make a copy of this and put it in their manual or give it to them and say, look, say this for number 3 instead of this. All right, any questions? All right, I'll send that today because I know that some of you are probably going to work with them early next week. All right, so then they go on to 5, 6, and 7. So they say all this stuff. All right. Now remember, they need to know, and that's true for the online as well. They need to know that everything in this box needs to be read. All right, and they go on. And by the way, so it's at this point. Let's see. Let me go back and see if I can find it. Okay, so right here, remember the first thing you're going to do is if you are completing the answer document demographics on test day prior to beginning test 1, hand each examinee their answer document. Go to the verbal instructions for the answer document demographics. So remember that was on that previous page. So that was here. This one right here. All right. So that's what that part said. That remember page 51. That's the demographics, which all of you in here right now is going to do. I think Arlington is going to do theirs a few days before. All right. Then we're back right here. Let me go back to this page. So this is on page 55, I think it was. Nope. The next page, 56. All right. Okay, so All right, so if you're completing the answer document or graphics, then go to the verbal instructions. All right, so we follow that. Let's see. Then they say number 12. All right, and 13 says, turn your answer document to page 3. I will now hand you a multiple choice test booklet. So that's where they start handing out the test booklets. So they gave the students the answer document, then they're giving the students the multiple choice. Now remember, when they give the multiple choice, remember that's that sequential, see right here, number 14, hand one multiple choice test booklet to each examinee in the room in sequential serial number order. So we talked about that yesterday, remember that? And keep an exact count of the test booklets distributed and the order in which you distributed them. If an examinee, number 15, if an examinee is authorized to use translated test directions, hand them out with the test booklet. Instruct examinees to write their names on the front covers. So notice it says instruct examinees to write their names on the front covers. Now none of you in this call today have translated test directions, but Odom does, and I think Miss Banga does as well. So both of those room supervisors are going to have to tell the students to write their names on the front cover of the translated test directions. Do not admit examiners to the test room after you start distributing booklets. So remember, we talked about, Ms. Wheeler asked the question yesterday about late arrivals. So any student that arrives after the test booklets are distributed cannot be admitted. Then number 18 says, now on the front cover of your test booklet, read the examinee statement, then copy only the certification, not the statements on the lines provided. Sign your name and enter today's date. When you finish, put your pencil down and look up. So they say that. They walk around making sure students are completing the certification. And then number 20, in the top corner of your test booklet, find the 6-digit number and copy it on your answer document at the top of page 3 in the booklet number boxes. Fill in the corresponding oval below each box. And 21, in the top right corner of your test booklet, find the 3-character test form. Copy it in the form box on your answer document and fill in the matching ovals. So if you were to look at an answer document and open it up, you'll see what they're talking about. There's always someone that when they return materials, there's an answer document without this information in there. So it's important that before the students are dismissed, that the room supervisor makes sure that the student did put the 6-digit number and also that 3-character test form on the answer document. All right, so make sure you emphasize that to them in the training. So they have to keep walking around to make sure they have this, because notice what happens right here. Failure to enter the correct form number could cause a delay with scoring or no score at all. All right, so Mr. Odom is the only one that has large print. So notice examinees using large print test materials, read a script or pre-recorded audio. Oh, and some of you probably have pre-recorded audio, right? Do any of you have pre-recorded audio?
I don't.
I have pre-recorded audio.
Okay, so it says this: examinees using large print test booklets, read a script or pre-recorded audio, copy the number from their regular print booklets. For large print test booklets, instruct examinees to add 2 zeros to the front of the 4-digit number when gridding. So remember, in the pre-recorded audio, you have two. You get the audio USB, and you get the booklet. So they're saying that the number to use is the one that's on the print booklet, the one that's on the book, not the one that's on the USB, the one that's on the book. That's all that says. And for Mr. Odom, that has a large print, he's going to have to tell the student to add 2 zeros to the front of that 4-digit number when gridding. All right, and then notice 23. Remember, for paper testing, look at what it says. The use of scratch paper is not permitted. Which testing is scratch paper permitted?
Online.
Online only. All right, so the use of scratch paper is not permitted in paper testing. Do any figuring or scratch work inside your test booklets. If you have translated test directions or a word-to-word dictionary, do not write in them. If you do, you will be dismissed for prohibited behavior and your test will not be scored. Mark only one response to each question. You will receive credit only for the responses properly marked in your answer document during the time allowed for a specific test. And then the room supervisor says, I will move around the room to monitor testing. So hopefully that person is actually moving around. All right, and then 24, I will keep official time. And then please pay attention to the time remaining announcements on each test. It is to your advantage to answer every question, and so on. All right, now, so here are the times. So, Peggy, which timing code is yours?
I have 6.
All right, so you're going to tell the room supervisor, and make sure you put a sticky note in the accommodations manual. So you're going to go to page, so timing code 6 is single day time and a half, right?
Correct.
All right, so let's see, where's single day time and a half? So time and a half.
95.
Yeah, page 95. All right, thank you. So you're going to go on page 95. Ms. Griffin, which timing codes do you have?
3 and 6.
All right, so that's triple time over multiple days is timing code 3. So your room supervisor go on page 76, and then the other one's going to go on page 95. Now, Miss Albert, you have a few. Do you know where to go?
I just have timing code 3 and 6 for paper.
Okay, all right. So you can do the same thing as Ms. Griffin. You get the room supervisors that does triple time. Timing code 3 is going to go on page 76, and then timing code 6 will go on page 95. So let's go. Let's just do one of them. Let's go to page 76. Now, before I say anything else, so remember, page 76 is timing code 3, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So this is it. All right. So, Miss Wheeler, are you giving just the English test on day 1? Or are you giving both?
For what? For timing code 3?
Yes, for timing code 3.
1 per day. I mean, well, English and then math, and then on the third day,
Okay.
we're going to do
All right. Miss Griffin, for your timing code 3.
Day 1 English, day 2 mathematics, day 3 is going to have reading and science.
Okay. All right. And the reason I was asking is because someone else is doing which is a lot for a student, because this is triple time, is going to do English and math in one day. So if the student takes all the time, that is through about 1 o'clock, right? Because English would be
Yes.
3 hours and math would be 3 hours.
Yes.
So that's 6 hours. When is the only time that you can give student lunch?
For us, 10:30 to 12 o'clock.
No, but I mean,
Oh.
in general. So let's say let's say you're giving a test, and you're giving 2 tests in one day. All right, accommodations. When can you provide lunch to the student? Can you provide? So let me rephrase it. Can you provide lunch between the 2 tests, or must you wait until after the last test? Do any of you know?
Which the two?
I missed I missed part of the question.
Okay, so let's talk about standard time online. So the student takes all 4 tests, right, in one day. When can you provide lunch to those students?
That break is after the second test.
So you're saying you can provide lunch during the break?
Oh, no, we wouldn't.
No, you don't. Remember, ACT says that lunch can only be provided when.
I don't know if we talked about that one. Did we talk about that one?
Yes. Lunch can be provided only after the last test is taken.
Okay. So that would be 1 o'clock. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So in standard time, the break, you can provide snacks during the break, but you
Right.
cannot provide lunch. You cannot tell them, y'all go to the cafeteria and eat, or here's a bag lunch. You cannot do that.
Okay.
It's always been that way. So
Yeah, I just remember that. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
so
Okay.
for accommodations, if you are now y'all are not doing 2 tests in one day for accommodations, but a couple of schools could, and one of them I know is, they cannot provide lunch between those 2 tests. Lunch must be provided after the last test is taken for the day. So let me just, we mentioned that in the online manual many weeks ago. Now, let me go find it in the paper manual where that's located. That's going to be, let's see, where I'm trying to figure out where that would be. It is in here. There's just so much stuff in here. Let me go back to the contents and see if I could figure it out that way. Remember, standard time, lunch can only be provided at the end of that last test, that 4th test. If for accommodations, if you're given 2 tests in one day, it has to be, lunch cannot be provided until after the last test is taken. Oh, this is a coordinator manual. Well, it may be in there as well. Let's see. I'm going to have to find it and send it to y'all because it's concerning me that some of you did not know that. I'm afraid that you can provide lunch between tests, and you cannot do that. Okay, I'm going to have to find it and then send it in an email to remind you all about that. So let me write that down. Lunch. Okay, so I'm going to find it and then send it to you. Okay. All right. So let's go back to that page 70 right here. So English. So that's the first test for timing code 3. So you see multiple day testing. All right. So notice these verbal instructions are written for administering 1 test per session. So that means that the way it's written is that English would be on the first day, math would be on the second day, reading would be on the third day, and then science would be on the 4th day. But science and reading are short enough or not that long to where you can actually do it in one day. So you do the English test. The room supervisor reads all this information. Now notice, remember, pre-recorded audio is 180 minutes. If the student has triple time but does not have pre-recorded audio, that's 135 minutes. Do you understand what I mean by that? See, this says 135, this says 180. Do you know the difference between the two?
No, I don't know the difference between the two, but I'm assuming if they get the pre-audio, that's understood to be the 180. If they
Yes.
don't have a pre-audio in their kit, it's the 130, 135.
Yes. So if you have, let's say you have two students with timing code 3. One says pre-recorded audio, the other one does not. So the one that says pre-recorded audio, how much time do they get for English? The one that says pre-recorded audio, how much time does that person get for English? Anyone?
Is that the 180?
180. If the other student that does not have pre-recorded audio, how much time do they get for English?
135.
135. Can you put those two students together?
No.
No, because the times are different. All right. Okay, so make sure your room supervisor knows which one it is, whether it's 180 or 135. All right, now number 4 says during the test, they need to do the following. They're going to record the start time and calculate warning and stop times. So remember, they have to do the 30-minute warning and then the 5-minute warning as well. Then document the minutes actually used by the examinee on the administration report. Remember we talked about that yesterday? You know what I'm talking about, right? On the administration report, room forms.
Yes.
So this
Yes,
one,
yes.
okay, all right. So you know it had the date and you had to put the minutes.
And that's the one we had the MC, we had to do the serial number, the student name, and then we had
Yes.
to do the
Right.
okay.
So right here, you have to put the examinee's name, the timing code, and you have to put the minutes. So that's what this is saying. Then the room supervisor has to add up all those minutes and put that here. So each student will have probably different minutes. All right. So then they complete the seating diagram as well. So it tells them what to do during this time. So during this time, during the English test, that first test, they do the seating diagram. And then it says complete your seating diagram, but it says this, but wait until break to verify any serial numbers. So remember you had to, the room supervisor had to distribute the books in serial number order. So they could, so listen carefully, they could have done this. Well, what happened to that? Oh, okay. So they could have right here put the remember the W. I'll put the student name under the W, and then a serial number where it says MC for multiple choice. So if they already knew the order in which they distribute the materials, they can go in and write that out now. But it's saying this at break though. But wait until break to verify any serial numbers. So it's at that point there they would double check to make sure that the serial numbers they wrote are actually correct. And they move around the room to monitor for prohibited behavior. And notice when if any examinees are still working, when 30 minutes remain on the timer, say you have 30 minutes remaining. If any examinees are still working, when 5 minutes remain on the timer, say you have 5 minutes remaining. And then when all examinees have completed the test or the timer reaches 0, say stop, put your pencils down, close your test booklet, and look at me now. And then number 8, they need to be able to make sure they understand they've got to do all this stuff. Number 8, verify everyone has stopped. If examinees are scheduled to take the next test on a later day, collect all test materials individually from each examinee before dismissal. If an examinee has translated test directions, collect them with the test booklet. Do not dismiss examinees until all translated test directions are accounted for. If an examinee uses a bilingual dictionary during the test, remember they must go through it to make sure nothing's written in it. If something is written in it, though, notice what it says, dismiss the examinee for prohibited behavior and determine whether the dictionary should be confiscated. And then dismiss the examinee by saying when they come back for test 2. And then there's the test 2. They do the process all over again. All right, so remember there's no scratch paper and there's no formula sheet either. So they just go through the process. All right, any questions? Any question, anything we talked about? Now the rest, okay, now some of you have timing code 6, so let's go to timing code 6. I think that was on page 95. All right, timing code 6. All right, so here's standard time of multiple days or a single session as breaks. No, that's timing code 5. Timing code 6. Let me find timing code 6. Timing code 6 is time and a half single day. What was that?
Page 95.
Okay. All right, page 95. All right, so 1.5 time. All right, so make sure you put a sticky note for those room supervisors that have timing code 6, because it doesn't say timing code 6 up here. It just says 1.5 time. All right, so that's where they take all the tests in one day. All right, so test 1 is English. Do not begin work until I tell you. You're to work only in the English one. If you finish early, place your answer document inside your test booklet and close the cover. You may now break the seal, but do not open the test booklet. And so notice they have 70 minutes here, and then when 30 minutes remain, they say this. Then they do the 5-minute warning, and so on. Okay? And they do the math test. And then let's see. So there's a break listed here, but let me just kind of remind you. So remember, most of you are doing math in one day. So you're not going to do a break, right? Oh no, I'm sorry. This is timing code 6, right? So everything's in one day. All right, excuse me. So there's a break. So remember, there's a break between math and reading. So you're going to do 10 to 15-minute break. Now remember, look at what it says. Watches must remain on the test room during break. So remember that analog watch they can put on their desk, but it must remain in the room. Test materials may not be removed from this room. So this is what the room supervisor is telling them. Now, during break, remember the students are on break for timing code 6. So for timing code 6, the students are on break. Make sure that whoever's in the hall, they're monitoring for prohibited behavior. There can be no cell phones out. So make sure everything is monitored very carefully. Now notice it says do not delay. I'm at this paragraph right here. Do not delay the start of test 3 and waiting for examinees to return late from break. If an examinee returns late, they may be readmitted but cannot make up the lost time. All right, and then they go to then they start reading, the reading test, and then they start the science test, and that's it. All right. Now notice when they complete the science test, it says number 7 on page 98. Turn your answer document to page 1. Read the statement at the bottom of page 1 of the answer document and copy the certification, not the statements on the lines provided. All right, and then I think that's it. Now, while examinees remain in their seats, look at number 12. While examinees remain in their seats, follow the instructions below. Remember, this is timing code 6. Confirm the certification is copied. So remember, the room supervisor and the proctor has to be going around checking for all this. Confirm the certification is copied. Confirm the answer document is signed. Confirm the form code is gridded. Remember the form code? Confirm all answer documents, even those with the barcode label, have blocks A through G completed. Missing information will cause a delay in scoring. And then stack all answer documents so they face the same direction. And verify the number of answer documents collected equals the number of examinees. Then part B, individually collect the test booklets from each examinee. Confirm the certification is copied. Confirm the test booklet is signed. Verify the number of booklets collected equals the number distributed. Arrange the test booklet in sequential serial number order. And then C, keep the collected test materials where examinees do not have access. All right, important. No one may access the test booklets or answer documents once they've been collected. All right, 13. If no writing examinee has translated test directions, collect them with the. If no writing examinee has translated test directions, collect them with the test booklet. Do not dismiss examinees until all translated test directions are accounted for. If they have a bilingual dictionary, remember they got to flip through it. And that's it. All right. So remember that My ACT, they have up to 2 days after testing to do that My ACT. And we don't do the writing test, so we're going to skip all that. All right. Any questions? All right. So remember, at the end of the 4th test, this is where the room supervisor has to make sure that the confirm the certification is copied and all that. So it's important because if you come to the office with some of that missing, you're going to have to try and figure out how to get that completed. All right.
What is confirmed the certification is copied?
Say it again.
What is confirmed the certification is copied?
It is on the, if you look at, let me get an answer document so I can read it. Do any of you have an answer document in front of you? Because it says what it is on the answer document, and I don't have one in front of me.
Okay.
But it basically, I think to a certain extent, it says that that they were the person taking the test was them, and I think I could be wrong with this part. I think it was like something about academic integrity that they will not share information about the test to anyone, things like that. I think that's what it says. I don't have an answer document in front of me, but that's a good question, Miss Albert. But if you go to your box and look at it, you'll see what they're talking about there, and that's for the answer document. Now there's also one for the test booklet. So if you look at the answer document, there's confirmed the certification is copied on the answer document, and then on the test booklet there's one as well.
But the room supervisor is going to read that directly from the manual, right?
Yeah, so in the manual,
Okay.
if it says, let me see if I can find it. Let's go back. Now I'm going to go to Timing Code 6. So it says this. Let's see. I'm trying to. So remember this part here where all timing codes begin? Let me go back to that page. All timing codes begin here. So let me go back and see if I can find it. Right here. All timings begin here. All right. So then remember the prohibited calculators. I'm sorry, the cell phones. All right. So right here, let's see.
Okay, so you're gonna send it. I'm gonna
Um,
send it right now. So it should be there in a few seconds.
I'm trying to find out where. Oh, right here. So it's number 18, right here. So it says, now on the front cover of your test booklet, read the examinee's statement. Then copy only the certification, not the statements on the line provided. Sign your name and enter today's date. When you finish, put your pencil down and look up. So it's everyone that does the paper test will do that on the part where it says all timings begin here. So everyone starts here. So that's where all that certification begins. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. What I would do though is just look at an answer document, and you'll and look at the test book. You'll see it on the test booklet. It's on the front. No, it's not on the front cover. It's well, you can't, because it's sealed, but I don't know if it's on the sealed part or if it's on the front part of the sealed cover. So I just can't remember where it is. But on the answer document, there's a statement also they have to do. But everything for the certifications, everything's done here. Now for the answer document, let me show you where that's located. So look. So remember that first part was the test booklet. The answer document is, let's see, it's going to be at the end of that last test. Let's see, science. All right, right here. So At the end of the science test, number 7 says this. Now, turn your answer document to page 1. Read the statements at the bottom of page 1 of the answer document. Copy the certification. So the test booklet certification is done way at the beginning. The answer document certification is done at the last test, after the last test. You got that? Ms. Wheeler?
I'm sorry, someone was asking me a question. What'd you say?
All right. The test booklet certification is done way at the beginning before testing, where all timings begin here. The answer document certification happens at the end of the last test. See right here on page 61 of timing code 6.
Okay. All right.
But then at the end of testing, they've got to make sure while examinees remain in their seats, follow the instructions below. So that they picked up all the answer documents, right? So it's all been picked up. So before they dismiss the examinees, they're supposed to look through all the answer documents, confirm that a certification is copied, confirm that the answer document is signed, and so on. Then they individually collect the test booklets from each examinee. Then as they're collecting the test booklets, they need to confirm the certification is copied and confirm the test booklet is signed. All right. And then verify the number of test booklets collected equals the number distributed. And then they would put the test booklets back in sequential serial number order. All right, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I know it's a lot, especially with online being different than paper to a certain extent, because there's extra things you have to do with paper, such as this, the certifications that you have to check for. All right, any questions? All right, guys, I think that's it. I'm going to send you the statement for the item 3 that they have to read instead of what the ACT says about cell phones. I'll send that to you today. You have any questions before we end?
I do have a question, but it's not about paper.
What's about?
When is ACT work keys training?
We've already had those.
Oh, did somebody from Liberty attend?
Yes, Fanny.
Oh, okay. Well, she's not here. So, and then Ms. Duvall is doing it.
Okay.
So,
That was hours and hours and hours of training. When do you plan on giving work keys?
we're giving it on the 9th.
Well, that's not going to happen because you have no one that's. I mean, you got to go in there and you have to upload all those students. It's not an easy process. How many students do you plan on testing?
It's 83.
Wow. This is what I suggest you do then. You're gonna have to come over here in some mornings where we can go through this, and this is not a one-day thing.
Are you available tomorrow?
No, I'm not. Not tomorrow, because I'm leaving early tomorrow. I'm taking annual leave.
Okay.
And Michael,
Yes.
Ms. Griffin probably gonna need to do that too, because I've never did the administrative side of that.
Are you given work keys, Ms. Griffin?
Excuse me, I was coughing. Yes, I am.
When?
It's after, I don't have an answer to that.
Okay, so
It's gonna have to be after work keys. I know that. I mean, it's gonna have to be after ACT.
do you know who you're
that.
testing for work keys?
I do have a list of names. Yes, I do.
Okay.
And it's probably under 20, but I might be more.
Well, it's going to have to be in March, because it's after. I don't know, Miss Albert. you just put a big wrench here. When is Stanley coming back?
It's on the 7th.
On the 7th? And is there a reason why you want to give it on the 9th?
because that's when Mr. Levitino wants all of the testing done, all ACT testing done on that day. So we're giving pre-ACT to the 10th graders, and then of course we're doing ACT online, ACT paper, but we're also doing ACT work for seniors that we've identified. And so as a school, Ms. Duvall is the one who's going to run ACT work keys, but
And
I would say
and
she
who was Fanny's backup?
I am.
All right, so let me say this for the future. You see how Fanny was out for many months? Whenever the test coordinator's out, everything falls on the backup. So you are not trained for all this stuff. In the future, whatever Fanny does, you have to be able to do. You understand? Okay. So I'm just saying that you put yourself in a bad situation by not being the actual backup, because a backup needs to know what the test coordinator knows for things like what happened with Fanny. So the backup is not, if the test coordinator is not available, then the backup has to be responsible. So I'm available to help you, to start helping you on the 2nd of the day we come back from Mardi Gras.
Okay. So I just can come to the accountability.
Yeah, but I'm telling you now, it's not going to. I mean, it was hours and hours and hours of training for work keys. All right.
Okay.
So I'll be available. So be here at 8 o'clock on Wednesday, on the 2nd.
Thank you.
And Ms. Griffin, you need to be here as well at 8 o'clock on Wednesday.
You may bring you Starbucks.
No, thank you. Ms. Griffin, do you understand what I said?
Yeah, I was there for the training, but I know I have to go back and review everything because that was done in the fall.
Okay, so you need to be here at 8 o'clock on Wednesday, March 2nd.
Okay, do my backup need to be there with me? Because I don't know how many times my backup was on any training. So
If you want to
do
bring
need
your
to be there?
backup with you, you can.
Okay.
But that's when I'm doing it. March 2nd at 8 o'clock. All right. Make sure you put that in your calendar. And Fanny, if someone else, Fanny, Miss Albert, you need to also bring the person who you mentioned. Who is that person?
Yeah, I'm talking to her now. I'm going to bring her with me.
Okay.
All right.
All right. But Fanny, oh my Lord, Miss Albert,
Yes, sir.
next year when we do trainings, I expect you there. Okay.
Yes, but I will not be the backup.
Okay. Whoever the backup
I
is,
will make sure that I'll make sure that it's the case.
because it's extremely, at this late notice, it's extremely I don't know what the word to use, but the backup should be able to do what the test coordinator does. And I'll have a talk with Miss Fanny, because she should have. I know sometimes it's easier to do things your own, and that's probably what Fanny was doing. She said, "Well, it's so easier just to do it myself." But then issues arise when she's no longer available. All right.
Okay. So it's not her fault.
Oh no. But
Oh,
I know it's not her fault, but I'll let her know that, and that whenever she's working on something, to make sure that the backup is included and knows how to do it. All right. So I'll see you in the 2nd.
all right.
Anybody else have any questions? All right, now, Miss Griffin, I need you to call me because I have some questions about your testing schedule. Miss Albert, did you send me your testing schedule? I can't remember.
I did.
Okay, all right. So, Miss Griffin, I need you to call me right after this meeting. Miss Griffin? Miss Griffin?
I couldn't move fast enough, yes. I have a lot going on and I was trying to multitask, but I heard you.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Call me after so I can ask you questions about your testing. All right, so I will end it and I will send the video to you soon. All right,
All right.
bye, y'all.
Bye, Michael, thank you.
You're welcome.